Hi, this is Sandra Murguia, and you're watching a special edition of Meeting with Faculty. Our guest is Cypress College journalism professor Robert Mercer. Mr. Mercer has taught at Cypress College for 11 years. He received his bachelor's in photojournalism from the University of Missouri and his master's in mass communication from the University of Oklahoma. Mr. Mercer has recently been named a Fulbright Scholar. The Fulbright Scholar program sends 800 U.S. faculty and professionals abroad each year. Grantees lecture and conduct research in a wide variety of academic and professional fields. The Fulbright program is sponsored by the United States Department of State Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs under a cooperative agreement with the Bureau. The Council for International Exchange of Scholars assists in the administration of the Fulbright Scholar program for faculty and professionals. Mr. Mercer, thank you for being with us. I want to begin by congratulating you and by officially recognizing you as a scholar.
I'm finally smart enough.
Please explain to our audience why you may now be officially recognized as a scholar.
Well, the Fulbright Scholar is a grant. It's a competitive grant, and it's been about an 18-month process by the time I leave, from applying to going through the various committees and finally being approved for a grant. The grant pays both a living stipend and you have a educational supply stipend, and you also have well, there's various stipends anyway for all your expenses. So it's a really great deal for me.
What will you do with that stipend?
Okay, I will be teaching at Lutz Liberal Arts University. This is in Lutz, Ukraine. It's about 60 miles from the Polish border and about equal distance from the Belarus border. So it's up in the north and west corner of Ukraine. And we will be teaching convergence journalism. Basically, I received the award because the students here did such a good job that they thought I could teach over there too.
Okay. Now let us go back to when you first found out you were accepted for the program. How were you contacted and told? What were you told?
Oh, it is painful. It is so painful because, let's see, you have the application, then you wait, and then a committee in late August, your application was in July, in late August of last year, get a letter saying you've been passed through. And then you wait, and in November they say, oh, your name has now been passed to the Ukrainian committee in Kiev, and they will decide. And then you wait, and then they finally said, the Kiev committee wants you. Of course, the university had emailed me in between saying, hey, the committee was here, they're going to take you. So it was, and then you have to get a medical exam, and I think you're probably vetted again somewhere. And so it really was June before we knew we were leaving in August.
Well, what emotions went through your body? What thoughts went through your mind at that instant when you were told, Mercer, you're going to the Ukraine?
Well, you couldn't believe you got it because it is so competitive. When I first applied, this is a direct process, and I want other faculty members to know this. I received this as a direct result of study abroad. Professor Takahashi created the study abroad program in Japan. I went along to teach on that in 2004. Because of that, I came back and they said, oh, why don't you apply for Prague? And I thought, well, that's fun. And so I did, and I wound up teaching in Prague in the fall of 2005. And there, my students and I met the Fulbright Committee in the Czech Republic. And they said, what are you guys doing here? They had us over for a meeting. And when it was over, I said, how do you get to be a Fulbright Scholar? I said, oh, you go to the website, you check it out, see if there's something there that suits you. And so I did not realize it was so competitive until we got into January and February, and you start reading the website that's special for people who didn't get Fulbrights. So that's, yeah, it was just like a big relief. But, you really held your breath up until the medical even. Because, I do like to point out that anybody can be a Fulbrighter. Anybody can be a Fulbrighter. Students going to grad school can apply for a Fulbright research grant. We had some wonderful students at our orientation in Washington 2 weeks ago, young people just your age who were, had finished their bachelor's and were doing research and just come back. And they did, spending a year in Europe. Think about it. They were on stipend, everything like us. We had high school teachers. We had college professors. We had a city planner from Columbia, Missouri, where the University of Missouri is located. I thought that was funny. So she's going over there and teach them city planning in one town. And so basically the Fulbright program, the universities, the towns, the whatever, ask for people to solve a particular problem. And then they match that up with people who say, yes, I'll write a proposal that will solve that problem. And so, for example, Lutz Liberal Arts University wanted more technology.
And that's what Robert Mercer will offer them?
Mm-hmm. But my point is every faculty member on this campus can be a Fulbrighter. Of course, I think you do have to start working and building a resume that says, yes, I am a problem solver and I am the person who can help people, particularly these developing democracies.
And what does that resume need?
Excuse me. Well, I thought the study abroad was probably the most important part. It showed quite a bit of adaptability. Oh, for example, in the orientation they say, if you get there and your project does not work, change it. Do not, or if you find they don't cooperate with you, walk away and do something else. You will not be measured for success. You will only be measured if you do something. And a classic example is a man who got there and they said, well, we canceled your course at this little university. He said, so fine. He went down to the Minister of Education and said, I'm a music instructor. Well, do you need me? And he said, oh yeah, we got this national course that travels around Ukraine. And so he, for a year, was the leader of these kids going around Ukraine. So that's the kind of innovation they expect of you.
And do you have a plan B?
Well, to be honest, I think I'm going to probably the finest program in Ukraine. There's one other program that competes in my mind, and I've also met those folks. The campus I'm working with is so organized that every country report I've read, there's like, well, I had a good time, but I wish I could have taught at Lutz.
What is the name